So let's check back in on Kyle Kulinski on his never Biden stance. Came across a video of him going over what Noam Chomsky said about the never Biden crowd. So let's watch a little bit of the video, and then I'll come back and finish up with just how it's just so foolish. It's so childish, especially for a guy who's like a political analyst. Let's go to it.
Chomsky weighed in on people who refuse to vote for Biden. He spoke to Mehdi Hassan here, and I'll let him speak for himself, and then I'll respond.
So you've talked very eloquently there about what's at stake. You summarized some of the issues for the second term of Trump. You say it's time to get rid of the malignancy in the White House. What do you then make of this very boisterous, very online, never Biden movement that we're seeing from some on the left, from some former Bernie people, including his own former national press secretary, some left-wing social media stars? What do you make of the never Biden movement?
Well, it also brings up some memories. The early 30s in Germany, the Communist Party, following the Stalinist line at the time, took the position that everybody but us is a social fascist. So there's no difference between the Social Democrats and the Nazis. So therefore, we're not going to join with the Social Democrats to stop the Nazi plague. But we know where that led. Okay, there are many other cases like that, and I think we're seeing a rerun of it. So let's take the position: never Biden. I'm not going to vote for Biden. There is such a thing. There's a thing called arithmetic. We can debate a lot of things, but not arithmetic. Failure to vote for Biden in this election in a swing state amounts to voting for Trump. Takes one vote away from the opposition, same as adding one vote to Trump. So if you decide you want to vote for the destruction of organized human life on Earth, for the sharp increase in threat of nuclear war, for stuffing the judiciary with young lawyers who will make it impossible to do anything for a generation, then do it openly. Okay, so yeah, that's what I want. But that's the meaning of never Biden.
Now, I have nothing but unending love and affection for Noam Chomsky. Honestly, he's one of the biggest influences on the way I think. I read a bunch of his stuff when I was younger. I watched a lot of, videos, lectures, interviews he gave early on YouTube. And he's just a really special guy. And, I don't want to be too hard on him here. However, I do find it interesting that Mehdi Hassan, who doesn't agree with not voting in this election, he's going to vote for Biden. He's not inviting on somebody who is taking that position to have that conversation with them. He's inviting on somebody who vehemently disagrees with that position, Noam Chomsky, and then Noam Chomsky goes out there and tells people who aren't going to vote for Biden why they're doing it and what they believe. Instead of you telling me what I believe, you just ask me, I'll tell you. And that's one thing I really can't stand is that there's a lot of talk about, the position I'm taking in this election. There's a lot of talk about it going around, and pretty much none of it has accurately characterized my beliefs. None of it. Even people who are somewhat sympathetic have tried to describe my position, and they're not doing it effectively. They always end up telling me I believe something that I don't believe. Okay, so let's break down some of what he says here. He says, a failure to vote for Biden amounts to voting for Trump. Now, you could assert that, but it's not true. A vote for Trump is a vote for Trump. There's a reason why I'm not voting for Trump, and there's a reason why I would never vote for Trump. I don't want to vote for Trump. I disagree with him. I can give you 1,000 things that I disagree with him on, and I've argued against him consistently on this show. So, I've laid it out before, but that 2017 GOP tax cut law, 83% of the benefits went to the top 1%. This is just, standard Republican politics on steroids. I'm under no illusions about who Donald Trump is and how he functions and what he's fighting for. We famously spoke.
Okay. So he says right there he's under no illusions of who Donald Trump is and what he's fighting for. And he also states that not voting for Trump is not a vote for Trump, and not voting for Biden is not a vote for Biden. Like in the literal sense, yes, obviously. But Noam is 1,000% correct on the arithmetic. It's if you don't vote for Biden, that's one less vote that Trump needs to get ahead of Biden. So de facto, you are helping Trump's run. You're helping his side of the election. That's one less vote he needs to beat his opponent. That is the basic math behind voting and not voting. Now, Kyle lives in New York, so he's obviously in a situation where he doesn't, it's not a necessity that he votes because New York's not going to go red, right? It's going to go for Biden. But he has quite a big following on social media, and a lot of people listen to him all over the country, and a lot of these people might be in states that are swing states that could swing the election one way or the other, and they may hear Kyle's stance on this, and that may actually push them further to not vote for Biden, which in this scenario that Kyle's explaining, he knows who Trump is. He's not under any illusions. That is not the scenario that we should be hoping for. And it's not, I'm not telling Kyle what he thinks and what he doesn't think, but what I do know is going to happen from his actions is it's going to cause more harm in this country and in the world. That, regardless of whether what you think or whether I'm trying to tell Kyle what he thinks, that is one thing that's not disputable. If you don't vote for Biden and Trump ends up winning, or just Trump ends up winning in general, that is going to cause more harm than if Biden wins. You can't argue that point. If you're on the side, if you are more left, if you're a rational-brained human being, if you've seen what Trump has done over the last 5 years in the public eye, running for president, being president, the policies, his disastrous takes on things, his anti-scientific brain, his bullying, his mean behavior, his tax cuts for the rich, his stance on climate change, pulling out of the climate accord. I could go on and on. You're going to cause more harm in this world if Trump wins. And if you don't vote for Biden and you live in a swing state, that's one less vote that Trump needs to beat Biden. You have just caused more harm in the world.